It's never too late to pivot. Hey, everybody, we hope you enjoy this episode where Lauren Taylor and I talk about second act, specifically someone in their 70s now becoming a doctor, setting Guinness records. Welcome to Gross Anatomy, where we explore the sights, smells, and sounds of medicine, how it relates to movies, TV, books, pop culture, podcasts, and the world around us. And I am still Dr. Jason Cohen.
And I'm still Lauren Taylor, and I feel like there's this light is making like a halo.
There is. You're an angel, angelic, or you're going to be canonized.
I don't have the proper lighting equipment, but we'll just go with it.
We will just go with it. I have a nice white background, and I have the mic in view today.
I know. I'm so proud of you. It looks nice.
I look so professional. Look at that.
Although I do like when your art is behind you.
I know. Well, got to figure it out. Can't have it all.
So what's new with you? Anything you want to share?
I got my haircut.
Ooh, nice.
And our last episode we talked about sports injuries and athletes and stuff, and lately I've been, I'm on my yoga kick and fitness kick, and I've been dealing with knee pain, and it's just so upsetting and depressing, and I'm still trying to tough through exercising, but the joys of aging, and it's actually what made me I texted you about wanting to get Jen Sherman of Peloton team. I want to get Jen Sherman on as a guest. She's an amazing Peloton instructor. Her music's really fun. Do you do Peloton?
I don't have one.
So she's her music is really fun. She's really fun. She talks about fun pop culture. We're pretty much exactly the same age. She's a New Yorker. She's a great advocate she's a Jew, so she's a great Jewish advocate, which I really appreciate and love, and she's not afraid to lean into that. But she's also started talking about the joys of aging, and she describes it as, I think she's starting some kind of venture or something called the back nine, meaning, in golf, it's 18 holes, and the second half of your golf game is the back nine. So she's talking about that in terms of a metaphor of life. And I and my partner, Dr. Gordon, who we've had on as a guest multiple times, he and I talk about being in the second half. You're still in the first half, Lauren Taylor, but I unfortunately am now in the second half of this game called life. And it's a whole different thing, talking about sports injuries and aging and life. So I definitely want to try to at least give her a shout out.
But also we had Peloton instructor Bradley Rose on, and that's a great episode if our audience wants to check it out.
Yes, and he's still in the first 9, but he talks about his own health journey, and he's a new papa, and so shout out to Bradley Rose, a great fun guest, really cool guy, great Peloton instructor.
Well, so I don't know anything about golf, so I'm actually glad you explained that, because I figured it was a golf reference. But so does she give any tips or anything that you can share?
I didn't get that far. I just saw when I was going to reach out to her, I saw she said, "Hey, everybody, I don't know if you know, like she became a Peloton instructor later in life after raising her kids." And she said, and nobody really helps and talks about whether it's healthcare or life, about especially in women, postmenopausal hormones. In fact, I had a patient today who forever claims like none of her doctors, multiple good doctors, but no one even talked about hormone replacement or anything like that. So it was just, interesting how everything kind of connects, how she talked about it today, this patient, about, the joys of aging and just health and wellness.
But speaking of changes later in life, like she wanted to become a Peloton instructor. You sent me an article of someone who graduated medical school at, I think it was 73, 72.
Lauren Taylor, that was a great intro. I love that segue. That was really a great segue. I love that.
Thanks. So 72-year-old West Michigan woman graduates medical school, Dawn Kraft. She set the record, and she's going to begin her residency at 73.
Pretty amazing. And I don't know, did it say, is she doing a surgical residency? Did it say what kind of residency she's doing?
It didn't. So apparently she worked as a nurse practitioner while raising 2 kids, and she had plans to become a doctor by 40, but then she got divorced and remarried and wanted to have kids again. So she had to go through the whole, I guess, like in
Wow.
Vietnam, had trouble having kids. So then she did a whole thing. And then I guess as her kids grew up, she was just like, why? Life's short. Why did I never become a doctor? So she's
Right.
obviously been in the medical field. So I guess it's a little bit easier, but still, I mean,
It's a journey. And the interesting thing, now that you reminded me, she said that her husband wanted to, slow down and travel more. So what they decided to do is, I think she's going to one of the Caribbean medical schools. So that kind of,
ah,
takes care of two issues: the travel for the hubby, so he gets to enjoy that kind of lifestyle, and she'll be in medical school, which is pretty fantastic. Now, the crazy thing is bare minimum residency is at least 3 years, no matter what specialty she's going to choose. So she's just getting into medical. She just graduated medical school, or she's just getting into medical school.
she graduates medical school. So I
Oh,
think
she's graduating
yeah, she's beginning her residency at 73 years old.
at
She's
73.
72 right now. Yeah.
So she's going to have 3 years at least. So
Hmm.
the youngest she'll be practicing medicine is 76, 77, which is kind of interesting. But hopefully there's longevity in her family and she's healthy and will take care of herself, because that's one thing that definitely happens during residency is we tend to neglect ourselves, and because it's so busy and intense. So hopefully she'll be able to live a long time and take care of patients. And it reminds me of, I created and run this pre-med program, and years ago, and the program is geared towards pre-med students, post-bac students, and college students who are looking to get into medical school to have shadowing experience. So normally it's college age kids or new graduates and things like that. But the interesting thing is, years ago we had this applicant, and my program administrator said to me, we have this person who's a volunteer at the ER, who's a really good volunteer, who wants to get into the program. And initially, I was like, I don't know. The patient, the patient, the person was a attorney. I think in their fifties already, at least in their fifties, an attorney wanting to go to medical school, and I was reluctant. I'm like, is this person really going to be a doctor? So I said, well, why don't I talk to the person, kind of feel them out, kind of have an interview, just a one. Normally we do a group interview when we're interviewing our students. So I said, I'll do a one-on-one and kind of see what's what. And the person gave a real compelling, great story, and we wound up taking the person into the pre-med program. And I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that person's a doctor by now, which is really
Wow.
cool, and went to medical school and did all that. I haven't heard from them in a while. I wish they would reach out. I got to check to see,
Yeah.
maybe we should reach out. But that was, it opened my eyes a little bit also to, second starts, third starts are worthwhile and stuff. It's never
Right. And we've done podcasts on that before, like doctors with second acts. So I guess it's only fair that like a lawyer could have second act as a doctor. But I
yeah.
was wondering what your thoughts were on the age, because if she was following you in residency, would you be hesitant? Like, why is a 72-year-old? Does she think she's going to become a doctor? Like, is she going to be doing surgery at 76 or?
Yeah, young me, pre California me would have been like, no way, but I'm a totally different guy now, so at this point in time, I've learned, my eyes have been opened so much. I've learned so much just from my kids, from life, from my wife, from everybody around me, from experience, and there's no path, there's no one way to do this thing. And if you're willing to do it, and someone's willing to let you do it, do it. Figure out a way to do it. Why the heck not? We're only here for a certain amount of time. Get it done. If that's something you want to do, why not? Why not?
Yeah, I agree. And I have a feeling reading the article that's like kind of what this woman, her name was Dawn. She thinks the same thing. So she's gonna be, yeah, finish her residency at like I guess 76 probably.
Yeah, pretty amazing. I just hope she's healthy and gets to enjoy it, and I hope it's everything that she envisioned it as. But probably in her case, she's seen it already to some degree. So
Right.
um, so Yeah, it'll be interesting. I hope to hear more about her in the future.
Well,
And
then,
she applied for the Guinness Book of World Records, right? Did you
oh
see
yeah,
that?
I think she got it. I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
which is also cool. So my other thing is, okay, if she does medical school overseas, is that a DO and not MD?
No, that's a great question, Lauren Taylor. So I love that question. So and that's one of the things we talk about in our pre-med program is you know, the goal is to become a doctor, right? So uh, ideally, it's always best to stay in the States. It's easier. Your journey is going to be easier to stay in the U.S. and go to a MD, a medical, a doctor of medicine school. But the other options in terms of being a doctor are either a DO, a doctor of osteopathy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but an osteopath, or going to a foreign school, whether it's in the Caribbean or somewhere else. And there you're an MD, but you're a foreign medical student grad. And
Okay.
both of those two routes, it's always the dilemma. If I can't get into a regular MD school in the US, do I do DO or in the States, or do I do foreign medical degree in the Caribbean? And the answer is there's no perfect answer. The answer is whatever works, whatever gets you to be a doctor, whatever you want. But certainly the reality is it's a little bit of going to be a harder journey for you to get to your final destination. It may be a little more circuitous and maybe a little more challenging.
Mhm.
Uh, but if you want to do it, you could figure it out. And so uh, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, that answers my questions about that. I also saw, tying into this, that Billie Jean King finally graduated from college at 82. She went
I didn't
back.
even know that. Billie
Yeah.
Jean is not my lover.
but
That's a different one. That's Michael Jackson's song that has nothing to do with Billie Jean King.
but it
Um,
is an entertainment. That was the number one movie again this week. So
oh,
Michael
did you see
Jackson.
it? I do want to see it. I got to tell you.
No, and I obviously you're not alone in that. It made so much money. People were like,
Wow. Well, the music was great, for whatever his life was and became. I had a chance to meet Michael Jackson as a patient a zillion years ago. And the funny thing, and then for follow up, Hannah, my middle daughter, who's now, I don't know about you, but she turned 22. Hannah, so it was right when Hannah was born. So this was 22 years ago. I met Michael Jackson as a patient, and I had to, and Michael had to do a follow up with me. And I wanted Michael to come to the office, and I get a call from his assistant saying, Michael doesn't want to come to the office. Are you willing to go out to the Neverland Ranch? And I was like, Hannah had just been born. I'm like, no,
mhm.
no. And that was it. I never, there was no follow up after that. I didn't go to I'll tell you that in life, maybe that's one of my regrets. I mean, it
Well,
was a
you
silly
saw.
follow up and everything, but I wish I had gone just to see the ranch and everything. And it was, I, that's one of my regrets, I think, that I didn't go to the Neverland Ranch just to see him, because it was like a nothing major. It was just a small follow up kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you put your daughter first, though, so
I
that's
did.
kind
I
of
put my
sweet.
wife and daughter first. I hung out at home instead of schlepping over to the Neverland Ranch.
Yep.
Yep.
You sent me another article about basketball, which I couldn't believe, or actually maybe Liat did, but you gave it a thumbs up at least. Jason Collins, who was a longtime NBA center, he became the first man to come out as openly gay while playing in the NBA. He died at 47, unfortunately. He had a brain tumor. Let's see. He began experiencing weird symptoms that included him being unable to focus while packing for a trip to the US Open. Collins underwent CT scans, but within hours, my mental clarity, short term memory, and comprehension disappeared. Oh, he had how do you say it?
He had a glioblastoma.
Glioblastoma.
Yeah, which is a
He's
pretty aggressive form of a brain tumor. Is that what he had? Glioblastoma?
Yeah, yep. And he said, imagine a monster with tentacles spreading across the underside of my brain, the width of a baseball. And what
Wow.
said too, he had just recently gotten married, and
Ah, that's crazy. And it's funny to think that he was the first to come out in pro basketball, but I don't know. Maybe there's just such a stigma. Who I
Well,
don't know.
no. So Charles Barkley, he was on because the playoffs are on. So he was talking during halftime, and he gave a shout out to Jason Collins, saying what a great guy he was, and saying that it's ridiculous still how the stigma exists in sports.
Yeah,
And obviously, and he was like, "You're an idiot if you think no one's gay in all of these sports. They obviously are, and they're still
yeah,
afraid to come out." And he
yeah.
said, especially in the Black community, and basically, like gave Jason Collins like so much credit for like being brave and like doing that. Still in like today's age, like I get it. Like if you don't want to discuss it, that's your business.
Right.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, you should be able to without fear that you're going to get hate.
Yeah, or banned or blacklisted or yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy. But just since you mentioned Charles Barkley, isn't he the one, maybe I'm wrong, who lost a ton of weight and is on the ads for the weight loss drugs? Speaking,
Yeah.
transitioning to segueing into that, which has been an
Yeah.
interesting thing, right?
He absolutely is. I think I'm not sure. I think it's Wegovy, but I could be wrong. It might be a different one.
I
But
don't
it's
know
one of
which.
them. He's in a commercial for it. Yeah, Google
Yeah,
it.
he's become a big spokesperson for weight loss and for the weight loss medicines. I wonder which one. For the company Ro, RRO. That's what he's on. And I don't know if it's specifically the GLP-1s or, but yeah, oh, Munjaro, I think it is that he's been.
Okay.
What else, Lauren Taylor?
So yeah, I want you to go outside. Well, you did Happy Top Gun turns 40. The movie was released May 16th, 1986. I know that because you sent me a little screenshot, which was adorable.
Well, you and I are both big Top Gun fans, and you even named your dog Goose, right? Because of
Um,
Top Gun, didn't
yeah.
you? Yeah,
What? Yeah, I did.
yeah.
So if anyone didn't know it, Top Gun is 40. But all I wanted to get at real quick was a quick celebrity medical thing. Amy Schumer, have we talked about before? She had a hysterectomy. Like she's had some issues. She's been open about. She was kind of open about another one. She said she had a botched procedure, but the botched procedure was a botched colonoscopy. I
Ooh.
and she didn't go into details. Um, but she said it was really, I mean, she was very uncomfortable, and I didn't know what that could mean. And I thought maybe you could tell
That could
me.
mean that's a cool, interesting topic. So that could mean a whole slew of different things. From the most mild thing could just be that they didn't get a good clean. Before colonoscopy, your colon's filled with poop, but you want to see the entire colon visualized, so you need to drink that disgusting stuff and poop your brains out beforehand. And if you
Hmm.
don't do a good enough job with the clean out, then the doctor doing the colonoscopy doesn't really get to see everything. So potentially someone could consider that a botch thing, but by no means is it a botch thing. It's just a failed colonoscopy or incomplete colonoscopy, and it has to be repeated. Could that be all that Amy Schumer is referring to? You never know. So that could
Yeah.
be the mild form of a botched colonoscopy.
Okay.
Then there's potential complications related to the anesthesia. Could the patient have some issue that they don't finish the colonoscopy or, can't tolerate it? Who knows? So that's a possibility. But then lastly, um, the colon is it's a tube basically, and it's not a very thick walled tube. It's a fairly thin walled tube that they're shoving a camera, a scope through this tube and blowing air in it. So the big complication is, what if the colon perforates or ruptures while they're doing that, or bleeds? Those are the two things. It could either bleed or rupture, which could both be major emergencies, potentially needing more real surgery to fix and deal with, but hopefully can just be managed without a surgery, just with some kind of intervention or resting the intestines to allow things to heal or antibiotics. So that's all the potential from minor to severe.
Okay. Wow. But that's rare, right? The third one,
Those
I
are
mean, she needs to
very
stop.
rare. They
Yeah.
do a zillion colonoscopies, and that's definitely rare. It's
Yeah.
definitely
Shouldn't stop people from getting colonoscopies.
by
Those are
no
important.
means. Colonoscopy is really important, and those are really rare.
Okay, so yeah, I was just wondering because she also said that she has Cushing syndrome, and she credited the internet for giving her so much hate about her puffy moon face.
Yeah.
That she did go to a doctor and she discovered that.
Wow.
So
So she's thanking internet haters.
yeah, I mean, and
Oh,
I
that's
mean, she's a
interesting.
comedian and in like a funny way, but I guess,
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it before. We've talked about people that like were on the news and a doctor was like, "There's something wrong with your thyroid. You need to get
Yeah.
it checked."
Yeah.
So,
Which is interesting. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
but all right, well, I'll let you get back to your family. I think we got enough for a
I
short
have
update.
Top Gun turning 40. Is someone? It's funny. Someone just sent me the volleyball scene. You know that my sisters or someone just sent me the
The playing with the boys, that song.
exactly, and all the commentary on that and how that the director took a whole day to shoot that, and the studio was pissed at him. You know that they're wasting a whole day to shoot it, and it turned out to be one of the most favorite popular. Like I remember all my buddies and I that summer all we wanted to do was play volleyball. By no means were we good. We were terrible, and
Mhm.
we were not playing 2-on-2. We were playing like 10-on-10. Still thinking we were Top Gun, but that was huge.
No, that seems amazing too because they make Goose keep his shirt on and everyone else takes him off. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I don't think Goose had the right body for it. But I think it was really the two of them playing the two of them. I think it was those guys were playing. And if you see some of Goose's moves, Anthony Edwards, he was pretty good.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards is a great actor, and now he's
I
a
mean,
director. But yeah,
yeah,
he's cool.
and I think a decent athlete. And he was what was the medical show that he was? ER, right? Taking it
Hmm.
full circle back to the Pit. He was the original The Pit on
Yeah, Dr. Green.
Dr. Green from ER.
Hmm.
There you go.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Cohen.
Thanks, Lauren Taylor. Thanks, everybody, for listening. This was a fun episode for me. I think we kind of came full circle with everything. So we hope you enjoyed it. Keep listening. Keep giving us feedback. Tune in on all forms of platforms and check us out on Instagram, Gross Anatomy Podcast.
That's it for this week. Thanks for listening to Gross Anatomy, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you can check out more episodes on the evolving sights, smells, and sounds of medicine. Gross Anatomy is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition.